We're looking at a shiny glass bottle customizer built entirely with Aircada and our good friend AI in well under an hour. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to build this from scratch. At the end of this video, you're going to learn how to create realistic glass shaders that run smoothly on the web, how to add custom text to the label, which will delight the customer, and using AI to one-shot prompt a beautiful UI that ties everything together. So let's get started. All right, we're going to start this off in Aircada. We have a very simple scene set up, and you can see we have the camera and we have the bottle. This looks extremely plain. So we're going to go ahead and make this look like actual glass and really just twist a bunch of knobs to get there. So I'm just going to show you how we do that. One of the most important things is going to be using an ENV map for your lighting. You don't want to use point lights and you don't want to use any ambient lighting. So we can go ahead and remove ambient lighting there, turning it off. What we can do is add an ENV map, a HDR map. So we're going to scroll down. I've already uploaded a few, but this is the one from Blender. It's a great one. Go ahead and add that. And once that's in there, we can go over to our main bottle here on the left, and let's get this looking very nice and glassy. So it's still black. We're going to crank up the ENV here. Glass itself is not rough. We're going to go and crank that down maybe just to about 0.6, and then metalness as well. We get those very low, starting to look a little glassy, not really. So let's go ahead and scroll down to transmission, thickness, and IOR. So this is what gives that glass look on 3D in the web. We are going to just crank transmission all the way up to 1 and thickness right around a 0.5. So thickness, you'll need to play with this because depending on how thick the glass is you're working with, the thicker the glass, the higher you want to go here, the more it's going to refract. So we're going to go to 0.5, and then IOR we can keep around, let's say 0.33 there. And so we're starting to look very glassy. That is nice. This looks very dark. You know why that is because we have our liquid in there, which is right now has no lighting. So we're going to go ahead and add the ENV map. Let's crank that up till we get something that starts to look a little bit more like whiskey. I've given it the color of the nice maroon there. There we go. Starting to look pretty glassy. We can do a few more adjustments. If I crank the ENV map up, starts to really look reflective, too much light, too much color. So we'll keep that back down around 0.25. We can just, once again, just play with these knobs. For one, it's a lot of fun, but for two, it takes some fine tuning to get what you're going after. And so it's all a bit subjective, but let's just find something we like. Let's go ahead now, take the cap. Let's give it a little bit of color. We're going to add the ENV map, crank that up, and you can see it starts to come to life. This will be kind of metal, kind of rough. That seems good for now. Then the cork right here. Let's crank the ENV map up once again. You can see how it starts to light up the glass, which is always fun. Yeah, looks good right about there. I think I have a nice dark kind of corky color. Let's hit the label now. So we're going to hit the label. We're going to then bump that up. You can see how it is kind of bleeding through right there. I'm not sure how or when that happened, but we're just going to move this ever so slightly right there. Okay, so this is looking good. This label here does not quite look like a label. You can see it's reflecting too much. Let's take the roughness up a bit, and transparency should be obviously all the way like that. So there we go. Let's go to our camera, which is over there. We can select it and let's add some camera effects. So auto frame, this is our go-to bread and butter. This is going to center this perfectly. If I open up the camera on the bottom left here, you can see that it has now centered everything in the scene. Let's click that again and go to the auto frame, and we'll target units, add object to select the bottle so that it's always going to be auto framing around this top layer here. We can then zoom this out to position it. So the last thing we can do here is add a bit of texturing to make it look even more realistic. So to do that, we can use a bump map or a normal map to add that little bit of fine grain. We'll go ahead and use a normal map. I've uploaded one. You can search these online or you can just generate one. So I'll go ahead and add that there, and we'll just zoom in here to see what we're working with. And yeah, if I crank that all the way outside of the 0 range, it starts to look crazy, but let's go there for now. And we want to make this way more, fine tuned to be smaller. So we're gonna go ahead and hit auto scale down here, and then we can just kind of mess around with the scale of it to something that we think looks solid. So I kind of like right there. Now we can go to normal map and just kind of fine tune that in so it's just subtle, very small, kind of like right there. Looks pretty good. There you go. So now you kind of have more of an old school rustic bottle look, and that's what we're going for. So we have this whiskey bottle. It's looking pretty good. It's looking brandless though, because there's nothing on the label. So let's make this actually have some artwork that the customer could customize themselves. To do that, we're going to use the sticker effect, which is the bread and butter for adding customizable artwork or engravings or text or anything like that. So we'll click on the label here and let's add an effect. We'll click material effects up there and sticker effect. So we'll add that to it. Open up the sticker effect here and let's go ahead and add an image to it. I'll add anything. In the meantime, we'll add this really majestic looking wolf, and it pops right on. It's a little bit skewed because of the UV maps of that label. So we can just play around with this, UV adjust X and Y to get it looking in proportion. So that looks decent. Let's see, I have a better image here. That would be a good background for this. We'll click on this nice red kind of, as if you were in some speakeasy kind of look. And let's scale the sticker up so it covers the entire thing. Okay, that's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Let's add another sticker that is going to kind of go a little bit more inside and be where we can actually upload artwork to or add some text. So we'll add another sticker effect. Let's open up the sticker. Let's add some artwork. And I've already uploaded one that would be kind of just a boilerplate label. So we're going to click that and let's resize it so that it fits nicely within this bottle itself. Okay, we can kind of look around it and say, okay, that's looking good. Has that nice border now. And the label up here itself, these are two attached. So this is one mesh, kind of has the top label and the bottom label. What we can do here is if we want to be able to make this different since they're the same mesh, let's add one more quick sticker, open up that, and let's just give it maybe that same kind of look. We can then move it up and try to see where it will then be placed on the top. Okay, so if I crank it up like that and we keep going, scale it even more, go to like 3, 2, 3. Cool. So it's not quite wrapping still. What we could do is just stretch it a bit if we want. All right, looks fun. You can see it's kind of blending into this bottom label. So luckily we have a bounds on the sticker. So if you click use bounds and I can just clip this how I want. Let's see, we want to clip the Y down at the bottom going upwards right there. And then this can be just negative anything. We just want to make sure it doesn't get clipped and we want to make sure the top doesn't get clipped either. So, okay, there we go. All right, cool. Got a good label. Let's make it so that the user can add text to this and customize it like that. So we're going to click the label once more. We'll add our fourth sticker. It's starting to pile up, but that's the fun of it. Click sticker there. And then this one is going to be text only. So we can hover over the texture here and the socket spawner, which will show a couple different effects we can add to this. Text image being the main one we want. And let's see. So if I type in hello world, there we go. Just shows up right dead in the center. I think we can bring in the X just a little bit there. Perfect. And let's give it a nice script font. So if we kind of scroll down here, we can see the font family. We'll click that. It'll show us a different list of fonts we can choose. And is that classy enough? Is that classy enough? Or is that classy enough? Alex brush looking pretty good. I like it. All right, we're so close to being done with our scene. We just need to do 2 more things to give it a little bit more realism. Right now, you can see on the bottom, it does not have any shadows. And let's give it a nice reflector look too. So as if it was kind of on a glass surface reflecting itself down. That'll look really good. So let's right click on the scene, do create shape. This will create a nice square. And what we want is a normal plane. So we'll go to geometry, change the shape type to, we scroll down to a nice plane. And then we just need to rotate it a few times. We can go over here to rotate it by 90 degrees. Oh, wrong axis. We'll rotate it on the X axis. Cool. So it's sitting right below the bottle. Move it down just a smidgen. And then we can go hit the resize and just crank this up. Okay. Let's go to the material now. Add a material effect. And let's see if we click see all here, we have the reflector effect. Let's actually just turn the mix down here on the effect itself. All right. So the last thing we need to do to the scene is add a shadow. We have our own ground shadows here in Aircada. We can just turn this on, but that can hit performance a little bit more than we'd like. So if you need a really simple shadow, it's always going to be better just to add a little PNG in there. If I go over to my assets here, I've added a shadow into it, adds it to the scene. We need to just kind of rotate this on the X axis. So there it is. And it looks awful. Go to side and wrapping on the materials for it. And we can hit clamp. Let's go down to alpha test. And this, we just crank that all the way down. And then we need to bring this shadow right below the reflector. This shadow is like reflecting on it, which looks really weird. So if we do that, there we go. So you can see the shadow now is right underneath. What if we want to go dark? I think we do for this. It's in the spirit of whiskey, unintended. Let's go and just click out so we can see our main world properties, and we can go to texture color. This is going to be for the background, and we can just bring that down like that. We can add a little gradient by clicking down here to add 2 different color stops. Let's make sure this is maybe zeroed out right around there. First color, you can see red. If I go up, it's very red. It's a little hardcore. We'll go green. I'll click the first stop, the second stop there, go green, and let's bring that down very, very dark. So that's just very subtle green. All right, this whiskey bottle's looking pretty good. So next step is going to be to actually add UI in there that controls the different 3D elements and allows the customer to, for now, be able to enter custom text that shows up on the label. We're going to go ahead and enslave some AI to do that for us. Hopefully one-shot prompt this. Let's go ahead and generate a UI design using like like ChatGPT or whatever. That'll probably be as simple as taking a screenshot of this whiskey bottle, uploading it and saying, hey, generate me something that matches this look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Please generate the image now. Okay, it's done. What do we got? Better. I don't know why I decided to give this one liquid and not these, but okay. Add to cart button. Looks a little bit meh, but it'll do. Now we just need a quick little write-up for the AI of what it should be doing here. So let's just tell it to write a really short design manifest, we'll call it, that really documents just a few things that can be customized here. All right, this looks fine. We're going to go ahead and use this image, use this design manifest, and we're going to go hop over to the code editor and see what AI can do in a single prompt. All right, so we're here in the IDE. We're using anti-gravity, and we have a template project set up here. If this is your first time creating a blank project, or you haven't set up the Aircada CLI, there's a link below in the description to a short and sweet YouTube video showing you how you can get set up here. Otherwise, let's get started. So we'll go over to the docs folder here, and you can see design manifest. So we have a generic one. We'll delete that, and we're going to go ahead and paste in our design manifest that we created from ChatGPT in the last step. We'll paste that in there, and then let's go ahead and add the image of the UI here right next to this design manifest. So we'll just paste in that image, and there we go. We have our two assets. I think we're ready to begin. We'll go over to the right side chat. We'll do /manifest, and this is going to execute some prompts that just pretty much try to one-shot this based on the two assets we have. Cross our fingers, see what happens. Okay, drum roll. Took about 1 minute of token maxing there, and we're going to go ahead and check it out. How we do? Not bad. Look decent, but let's click around here. Frosted, textured, okay, pretty good. Looks like it added that bump map value there. I think it just made the roughness higher. Normal, that roughness low gives us that first look we had. So sweet, old fashioned. All right, sweet. That hooked right up to the text input. Amazing. And let's change some colors here. Juicy, juicy, juicy. That did a really good job. AI is coming for all of us, but not too soon because there's still some issues here. So let's go and update the UI to make it look more like that reference image because it didn't quite nail it. This is a little bit too yellow. Yuck. We want some icons there. You can see it kind of bleeds out on the side, and these image icons should be bigger and have a little bit of a juicier beveling in it. So let's do that real quick. 30px wider. Change up the color. Yellow, orange color. It's too bright. Classier, elegant font. Okay, it's looking better, looking classier. All right, there we go. For when you want to drink jet fuel, this is the button to click. All right, I think we're almost there. So what's left? Let's just make these icons look like actual juicy bottles. Okay, to get these icons, I just gave it to ChatGPT and said, hey, make these a nice PNG transparent background icons. And there we go. I uploaded those, and I'm going to give it to the AI down here and say, make these the icons for the main bottle type. Excellent. Look at that. That looks good. Okay, so we have our mobile and desktop whiskey bottle customizer. And that is how you build a glass bottle customizer for the web using Aircada, AI, and a couple thousand tokens. And if you got some good value out of this video, you could like and subscribe below. We'd appreciate that. Thanks for watching.